Morning after, some great news for the 49ers hidden in plain sight here in New Orleans. The offensive line was epically good yesterday. People were saying Trent Williams should retire after week one without acknowledging that he's one of the greatest offensive linemen in NFL history, and he was playing through a painful bone bruise. He decided to play through it again in New Orleans, didn't give up a single pressure. Colby, the rookie guard, didn't give up a single pressure next to Trent Williams, so a clean sheet for the entire left side of the 49ers offensive line. 5 of their top 6 graded offensive players were linemen. So, this just gives you an idea of what kind of performance we were looking at yesterday. This was the best pass blocking performance for San Francisco since 2022. That's the last time that they had an above average pass blocking offensive line. So they needed it with Mac Jones not having Brock Purdy's mobility.
Going to need to hurry up and get to the airport here. 49ers morning after in New Orleans. I love you guys, and that means that I do a live, even though my flight is, I think we've got about 110 minutes right now until we take off. So, clear, pre-check. Hopefully they have it here in New Orleans as I head off to the airport. But it's important to talk about this game the day after because the 49ers needed to show better pass protection. They needed to play better up front than they did against Seattle's very, very good offensive line in week one because this guy right here, not this guy, sorry, that's me. This guy, we got to get Mac Jones up on the screen. This guy right here was starting at quarterback. If I was starting at quarterback, I think I would need good pass protection as well. And Mac Jones doesn't have Brock Purdy's mobility, point blank. So the 49ers needed to protect him better than they protect Brock Purdy, just the way that it works. And they absolutely succeeded in this game. Take a look at some of these statistics, some of these numbers. We have the initial ones that have come out. I'll put them here on the side of the screen from Pro Football Focus. I want you to take a look at this middle one. 5 of the 49ers' top 6 graded offensive players were their offensive linemen. And that doesn't even include Colby. So 5 of the top 6 were the 49ers O-linemen who started this game. And then Ben Barch was hurt. We saw him in the boot late in the game, after the game in the locker room. So there's a very good chance that the rookie Colby starts again for San Francisco next week against Arizona. But even Barch scored well in the time that he did play. And Trent Williams and Colby didn't give up a single pressure, as I just told you, in that little walk down Royal Street in New Orleans. That's one over from Bourbon Street. It's a little more of a manageable vibe. Actually this has been the weekend of Benedict's, and Croque Madame's had another good eggy breakfast. It's time to leave New Orleans because I'm getting a little full after every single meal. But the left side of the offensive line, airtight for San Francisco. Jake Brendel gave up 4 pressures, but he was still one of the 49ers' 5 highest graded offensive players. I think he's actually the 2nd highest graded offensive player. So sometimes the pressure numbers are a little bit deceptive based on some of the blitzing action that is coming from the opposing defense. Dominic Puni is fighting, even though I don't think he's 100% right, and he got rolled up on again, but he only gave up 1 pressure in this game, and he should get healthier as this season continues. Knock on wood that the injury today or that whatever happened yesterday when he got rolled up on does not turn into something that Kyle Shanahan announces as an injury that's keeping Dominic Puni out today. That's always possible. We talked to Kyle Shanahan at 3:30 Pacific, and Colton McKivitz has been playing excellent football too. McKivitz gave up 1 pressure, but it wasn't exactly fair. It was the strip sack. But it took Mac Jones 3.8 seconds from snap to release on that play. And if you read my article up on the San Francisco Standard, Mac Jones actually addresses that play. You could see it right here. I just took too long to throw it. It's not on the offensive line. It was my fault. Cumulatively, the 49ers pass block win rate from ESPN in this game was the 4th best in the league yesterday. And it was the best one they've posted as an offensive line since 2022. Now, the 49ers offensive line is misrepresented in reporting and fan talk all the time. I was the first to really criticize it under Shanahan back in that 2019 season when they were number 26 in pass block win rate. They were atrocious in 2020. They got better in 2021 and 2022. In fact, their best season of pass protection was in 2022. So to be able to deliver a pass block win rate that was the highest since the Raiders game where they exploded for, I think, nearly 40 points. That was on New Year's Day in that 2022 season. To be able to deliver a performance like that, that is a great, great sign for the 49ers pass protection. Consider that they were playing on the road yesterday, and the Saints fans make some noise, even though there were a ton of 49ers fans in the Superdome, but it's harder to pass block when you're having to run silent count on the road. They're playing with a backup quarterback, so the communication is going to be at least a little bit compromised versus what you have with your starter just because of the reps that you take at practice. And I was talking all week about the Saints actually having some pass rushing juice against the Arizona Cardinals in the season opener. I mean, Carl Granderson can get after the quarterback. Cam Jordan, even at age 36, can inflict some damage. I don't think that the Saints are as good along the interior defensive line, but from the edges, they can bring the heat. And remember that Trent Williams gave up 6 pressures against Seattle. I mean, there were people telling me, oh, he needs to retire. It's like, have some respect for one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time. I'm pleased. One poor game, one struggle of a game for Trent Williams, especially a game where he got rolled up on his knee and he suffered a painful bone bruise. That does not make a career. It does not make an imminent retirement. He, as one of the most accomplished offensive linemen ever, I would say very arguably the most athletic offensive lineman ever, I think Trent Williams deserves more than a game to get it right at the start of the season. And Trent Williams did deliver for the 49ers. He decided to play when he got to the stadium and he saw his teammates and he felt the game day vibe. The competitive juices got flowing. Didn't give up a single pressure. Had to really fight in run blocking because the Saints were playing a lot of 5 and 6 down defensive linemen. But Trent teamed up with Connor Colby and earlier Ben Barch to really solidify Mac Jones's blind side. And that was all the more important with Mac as quarterback because he's not as mobile as Brock Purdy. So to be able to squeeze out, what was it, 0.17 EPA per play from Mac Jones in this game, that's good efficiency for your backup quarterback. It's not anywhere near the level that Brock Purdy was at in week 1. He was at 0.41 EPA per play. So Purdy was over twice as efficient as Mac Jones, but Jones was still better than Spencer Rattler. To give you kind of a ballpark idea of efficiency, Purdy is ranked number 3 right now. That's his per play rate week 1. Mac Jones was number 14 with that performance. So the 49ers have 2 QBs who are, one is in the top 3, their starter. Their backup was a top 14 guy. I mean, they probably have the best quarterback room in the NFL, but a big part of the effort yesterday was that offensive line. I mean, just look, let's take a look at what Mac Jones said. I wrote about this in the San Francisco Standard. Link should be in the description. Mike, can you toss the link to this article in the description? If it is not there yet, I'm going to put it into the comment section and pin it when I'm done with this video. But here, you can read this up on the Standard. Mac Jones was a little bit nervous before the game. So I think dancing with Trent Williams helps. I think that dancing with both Kendrick Bourne and Trent Williams behind a boombox really helps. Mac Jones is also hilarious. He was giving some jokes, but actually Trent came up to Mac, and this is what Mac said. Trent came up to me and said, "You're good, dude. Just go out there and hoop." And I was like, "I got you. I can go hoop." If Trent Williams can say that, I can do it. So that calmed me down a little bit. So Trent is here helping younger players, helped Connor Colby right next to him, helped Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, and the familiarity with Mac Jones is big. But you know what else is happening right now? Younger players are helping Trent. This is the sign of a really healthy dynamic in the locker room, because I could give you the quote from Trent. I was just talking to him after. The 49ers had hoped that one of the benefits of this youth movement would be an injection of fresh vitality into some of their veterans. And here, Trent Williams talked about it. Here, I got to take a screenshot to get this for you guys up on the screen. Let's get this. This is why you need to subscribe to the San Francisco Standard, by the way, because you're not getting this kind of detail anywhere else. All right, we're popping it up there right now. There you go. So Williams surprised his 49ers teammates and himself by playing through a bone bruise in his knee. A year after gutting through an ankle injury that was supposed to shelve him for the season, Williams woke up not expecting to play after being very limited at practice this week. Here's what he said. Then I got in the stadium. The competitive juices started flowing. I'm a captain. I'm a leader. So it's hard for me to just say, I'll see you guys next week. And then here is the kicker line. It's down at the bottom. Yeah, we could zoom in. That's good. I got a little burst of energy seeing everybody's energy, seeing me. A little surprised that I was even out there. It got me fired up. So Trent is feeding off of the younger guys who see him, who are in awe that he's able to play through a very, very tough knee injury. And he's saying, all right, as he was walking down the tunnel yesterday, I was in the tunnel as the 49ers were coming out of their locker room to warm up. And I sensed a little heightened focus and a little heightened energy from Trent. Like, I just sensed it. You could feel it. I mean, the guy's massive. He walks in a way with that gait, that confidence that only a future Hall of Famer can walk with. I mean, he's got Trent Williams written all over him. So he walks right by me and I absolutely sense it. So after the game, I go into the locker room and I'm talking to Trent and I ask him, hey, I've known you since 2020. That's when the 49ers traded for him. Still one of the great trades the 49ers have ever made. And I've never really sensed that level of excitement, focus, whatever it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was there a little extra today for you? And Trent, as I was saying that, Trent just started smiling and nodding. And he said, yep, there was a little extra. That's where that quote comes from. I got a little burst of energy, seeing everybody's energy, seeing me. A little surprised that I was even out there. It got me fired up. So veterans are elevating youngsters. Youngsters are elevating veterans. The overall product of this yesterday, if you want to look at some of the 49ers results, is that 5 of their 6 top-graded offensive players were offensive linemen. This was one of the best 49ers O-line performances in years as far as pass protection goes. The ESPN numbers say since 2022. And I can't think of better news for Mac Jones and Brock Purdy moving forward. I mean, Brock was the NFL's most efficient quarterback in 2023 with the number 26 pass block win rate score in front of him. Imagine if Brock Purdy can play a season with his actual weapons without everybody getting hurt and with an offensive line that's at least above average. And it's all about continuity on the offensive line. The more snaps these guys get together, the better they're going to be. I think the 49ers are already well above average at both tackle spots. I think Colton McKivitz has taken yet another step. He's a well above average right tackle in terms of pass protection. Trent's one of the best to ever do it. And the interior is interesting because Pooney's hopefully for them going to get healthier. We'll see what they do about left guard. But again, the rookie Connor Colby didn't give up a single pressure in 36 snaps. And we can't say that Ben Barch played poorly because he played well. The challenge for Barch is just staying healthy. And then Jake Brendel, you talk about cohesion. He's the one that's supposed to be the ringleader here, running everything as a center in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And it'd be impossible to argue that he's not doing a good job after what San Francisco was able to pull off yesterday. Against, by the way, Brandon Staley as a defensive coordinator is familiar with the 49ers. He was just on their staff last season. So Brandon Staley dialed up some interesting blitzes. He game planned for what he thought were the 49ers' weaknesses. And San Francisco was able to overcome that anyway, thanks in large part to some really, really good pass protection. All right, we've got some stuff to show you on the day after. I have to just put this out there again. I put it up on the show last night. Mykel Williams was damn good yesterday. This is what we call length, nearly a 7-foot wingspan to power. backing a tight end up into Alvin Kamara, and then he delivered a monstrous tackle. I'm not allowed to play the actual tape, but I can show you a screen grab. Deebo Samuel last night liked my post about Kendrick Bourne, who said that he missed the 49ers. I just thought that was noteworthy. Deebo is still watching from afar. We've got some more stats for San Francisco. I'm going to go through some of the defensive stats. Why don't we start down here with this one? Fred Warner. I'm just circling it here with my cursor. You could see down there. Fred Warner delivered one of the highest PFF game grades I have ever seen. 95.1. He broke one of Patrick Willis's 49ers franchise records for pass breakups. That was an insane pass breakup on Juwan Johnson on the second to last play, right before the Bryce Huff strip sack. And he tied another Patrick Willis record for forced fumbles when he stripped Alvin Kamara, who's fumbled, like you can count on two hands the amount of times that Alvin Kamara has lost a fumble in his NFL career. He's lost 4 of them to the 49ers. And I mean, Warner, not only did he force the fumble, he also picked up the football. I mean, it was a Superman type of play. So was the coverage on Juwan Johnson. Here's the thing. Juwan Johnson is 6'4". He dropped a couple passes early, but then was giving the 49ers some trouble. He caught the touchdown against Marquise Siegel, who's only 5'11". I mean, he's a matchup problem. Unless you've got a 6'4" linebacker who can run with him, and that's Fred Warner. And Warner covered him on that outbreaker. I didn't think it was a bad throw from Spencer Rattler. I mean, I don't know where else the ball could have gone, but Fred Warner just flew in there like Superman on the outbreaker and knocked it away at a very clutch moment. I mean, you talk about closers, Fred Warner is a closer. Nick Bosa is a closer. Bryce Huff is a closer. You know who else is dominating right now? Look at the top right here. Diamador Lenore. Maybe I could widen this up. You guys see the top tweet? I just grabbed a bunch of them to give you some stats on this morning. Diamador Lenore has been in coverage for 72 snaps through these first 2 games. And opponents just simply are not testing him. It's like a Richard Sherman-like thing, right? They're just not going to Lenore's side of the field. They've only tested him 5 times through 2 games, and he's only given up 3 catches for 16 yards. So if he takes 16 yards, divide by 72 snaps in coverage, he's given up 0.2 yards for every snap that he's in coverage. Demo got snubbed from the Pro Bowl last year. I don't think he's going to get snubbed from the Pro Bowl this year if he keeps on delivering numbers like that. So you've got Demo on the back end at the cornerback position. You've got Fred in the middle. D. Winters is playing sensational football now. He made a bad penalty yesterday that helped give the Saints some life. So don't take the Dre Greenlaw emulation too literally if you're D. Winters. I think that's key to remember. You've got to be careful near the sideline there. You don't want to give away personnel foul penalties that turn into first downs and big chunks of yardage and basically sparks for the opposing offense. But D's a tackling machine. He's delivering some of that physicality that really sets a tone for the 49ers, and he's the Robin to Fred Warner's Batman. When you have pieces like that on the back end, and of course Bosa and Bryce Huff on the edges, I haven't even gotten, well, I have gotten a little bit to Michael Williams, but right now I'll delve into him in a little bit. When you have enough pieces like that are already controlling the flow of the game, you can absorb the growing pains that come with the rookies. And the growing pains are well worth it because these rookies seem to have such upside. Somebody like Upton Stout, I mean, I just watched the tape this morning, and, we could all talk about the illegal contact penalty that probably shouldn't have been an illegal contact penalty. We can all talk about Upton Stout getting beaten by Chris Olave on a play a little bit further downfield. But he had 3 pressures on blitzes. We could talk about him taking a bad angle on and getting juked by Spencer Rattler on the 4th and 1. I mean, for all of the growing pain plays that we could talk about, there is a sensational play, like a missile blitz play from Upton Stout. The illegal contact, which shouldn't have been called, that was really, really good coverage against Chris Olave, who's one of the better receivers in the NFL. This guy, I mean, he plays with the heart of a lion, and he is very emblematic of what the 49ers are trying to do defensively, and that is spruce this up with this youthful vitality and strength. They want to play with balls of muscle, right? Like they've got like Upton Stout is a ball of muscle. Marquis Siegel put up a lot of bench press reps too. He's really strong and he's fast and he's able to lay the wood with some of these hits. Somebody like Nick Martin, I know that he's still inactive right now because he's buried on the linebacker depth chart, but he's shown a lot of potential. He's working his way up the rung for the 49ers. He's a ball of muscle. He put up 26 bench press reps, most of any linebacker. So Upton was most of any cornerback at the combine. Nick Martin was most of any linebacker. I mean, there's a profile. It's this small yet strong, yet missile-like speed that the 49ers want on the back end. And with that profile comes some early mistakes, as is always the case with any rookie. But this vitality is what is helping push the 49ers over the top. It's the dynamic I talk about with Trent Williams feeding off of some of the rookies. Well, I think that Fred Warner is clearly feeding off of some of the rookies. I think that Nick Bosa talking to him in the locker room is feeding off of some of these new faces for San Francisco. So it seems to me that they've got a great cocktail assembled, right? They needed to get younger. They have. As a result, they've won 2 games that they probably would have lost in 2024. They've got a little extra spunk there toward the end of these football games. And, you know, they didn't win with a backup quarterback last year. Whenever Purdy didn't play, they weren't able to win. Obviously, Mac Jones is an upgrade in the QB2 department. But the defense, despite still having its flaws, despite the fact they're going to have to grow throughout the course of this season, they are delivering at crunch time. And they're going for 6-out saves. That was a game that the 49ers probably would have lost due to exhaustion and age last year. But the defense had to go out there twice because the offense couldn't close it out. Offense had a punt twice. And credit to Thomas Morstead, who pinned the Saints back inside their 10-yard line twice. That was huge. And Morstead after said that would be his last time in the Superdome, so he might retire after this year. Remember that he punted for the Saints from 2009 to 2020. So he had over a decade in the Big Easy. And what a fitting way to go out for Thomas Morstead. It's 49ers special teams. It was kind of a redemption game for them. But that helped, complimentary football helped give the defense that added juice that has shut down a game, closed out a game for the second week in a row. I've got a few more statistics here. Mind you guys, I've got a flight in 90 minutes at this point. It says about 17 minutes to the airport. We're going to cut it close. It's more important to go live, talk about some of the stats, talk about my article. We got pieces from the article here. How about we go to the 49ers defensive line pressures against the Saints? But yeah, let's flip it over to the D-line because Bosa, Huff, 11 pressures between them. Look at this. Michael Williams with 3. So, I mean, there's Michael. This is not a pressure. He had 3 and 2 tackles for loss. But Michael Williams and Alfred Collins got in on it with a nice swim move win. I think that the blossoming is here. Those are the 49ers' top 2 picks. And on back-to-back plays, Michael Williams had a tackle for loss, and then Alfred Collins delivered his first pressure of the season. Alfred is obviously behind where Michael Williams is developmentally, but he is coming along. I think we expected this to take a little bit longer for Michael because, quite simply, it just a little bit more of a raw player. There's more body to corral there for Alfred Collins as well. I mean, I talk about the fact that there is a nearly 7-foot wingspan for somebody like Michael Williams. Well, the wingspan for Alfred Collins is over 7 feet. If there's one spot where I think the 49ers defense is notably weak personnel-wise, at least relative to the rest of the unit, probably the reason why they did give up 120 rushing yards, that was one of the issues yesterday, one of the bigger struggles. They are not as long as they've been with their dominant units inside a defensive tackle. Now, Alfred Collins is a long player, but he's not yet playing at the level that the 49ers saw back when they really, really were loaded up in the front 7. Now, the vision is to get to that level with Collins and then with the fire hydrant with CJ West. The vision is that those guys develop into those types of players on the inside to help shore up some of these weaknesses on the 49ers defense. But any rational observer will realize that this is going to take some time for San Francisco. And Robert Saleh is probably going to have to go with some smoke and mirrors until he gets to the point where those guys are playing at that level. And some of the smoke and mirrors involve, let's take a look at some of the 49ers pass rushing packages here. I'm going to make this bigger on the screen. This is their lightning package from yesterday. Look who's playing defensive tackle. You guys see that? Right here? That's Nick Bosa. This was a pass breakup for Fred Warner. It was an early third down play. Bosa got to work against Cesar Ruiz, 51, who's the right guard for the Saints. And again, I can't play the tape, but I could show you the little still frames here. Bosa working against the guard as a defensive tackle, which we see very rarely. Very rarely had we seen this in the past. He just blew by him and he hit Spencer Rattler. So you got Yetur Gross-Matos, who had a couple pressures of his own on the left side. Bosa playing an end position. We'd seen Yetur slide inside a lot, but now they slid Bosa inside. Michael Williams tandem rushing with Bosa on the inside. We know they like Michael on the inside, working against guards in those pass rushing situations. And then Bryce Huff, whose get off is fast as hell on the right side of this line. That's how the 49ers set this up. And then Warner, feign blitz, drop back, knock the pass away. You've got two good linebackers working behind the wide nine. It's just fascinating to me because I talk about smoke and mirrors. This is one of the things that Chris Kasarik is far in his bag already this year. And I think he's having a lot of fun working in tandem with Robert Saleh. So back to the pressures for the 49ers defensive line. Bosa 6, Huff 5, Michael 3. He just said, I want to get better week to week. I thought he was a lot better already week 2. Now, Michael was double teamed more than any other NFL defensive lineman in week 1. Like more than TJ Watt, more than any household name you could think of. So he already had a successful week 1. It just didn't make the box score watchers happy. This one should make at least advanced stats watchers more happy with the 3 pressures against the Saints. But it was some of that tackle for loss action against the run that was truly impressive for Michael Williams. So down here, I even talk about it. Week 1 drew the highest double team rate in the NFL. Week 2, 5 tackles, 3 pressures, 2 tackles for loss, and some monstrous edge setting plays for Michael Williams. Boom. 49ers from New Orleans. Yesterday I talked about QB luxury to Michael Williams to some history. Those of you have to watch yesterday's videos, but the cool thing is that these stats live on even to the morning video. The 49ers became the first team since the 88 49ers to win 2 games to open the season on the road with 2 different starting quarterbacks. The 2 starters in 1988 were Joe Montana and Steve Young. It's Brock Purdy and Mac Jones this time around for San Francisco. Making sure that I've got to all the things that I plan to get to, and I have a couple bonus things here for you as well. If you have some questions, go ahead and toss them in. Would really appreciate that. I was just cranking out stats up on X this morning. There's probably a few more that I can show you guys. Yeah, here. We're going to go Purdy and Mac Jones because there is a quarterback efficiency chart from Kevin Cole. He did a really good compilation. So we could take a look at all the QBs in the league here over the first couple weeks of the season. Almost ready. All right, here it comes in 3, 2, and 1. You guys see that? Maybe I could zoom in a little bit as we talk about this. But through 2 weeks, this is the quarterback efficiency. Look who's at number 3 right there, Brock Purdy, 0.41. So it's Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson tied at the top of the league, and Purdy only has the Seattle game to his credit. And the Purdy number is elite. If he could stay at this, he's going to be number 1 all season long. Herbert and Jackson aren't going to be able to sustain that. Purdy probably won't be able to sustain what he's at. But in this measurement, Purdy has been the top quarterback in football, the most efficient quarterback in football since he joined the league in 2022. If you scroll down, you'll find Mac Jones right here at number 14. So, I mean, Jones has been more efficient than Mahomes, more efficient than Hurts, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, whom the 49ers face next week, Trevor Lawrence, who's coming into town in 2 weeks, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold, played against San Francisco. They got the win. Seattle did yesterday against Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are less efficient so far this year than Mac Jones. To have your QB2 at number 14 and to have your QB1 as a top 3 guy through 2 weeks, yeah, if you sustain that pace, things are going to be looking very, very good. All right, before I have to sprint off to the airport, I can handle a few questions. We've got one super chat here. If other YouTubers used all 22, why can't you on yours? Seems like fair use. Yeah, I agree. For whatever reason, we've tried to put it up and we can't. I mean, YouTube doesn't consider it fair use. I don't know what workaround there is. Maybe we need to get some kind of approval from the NFL, but it seems like YouTube's like automated system flags it, which is part of the issue. So we're doing our best. If you have any ideas as to how we can get around it, I'll start breaking down more tape here on YouTube. CMC's #1 fan just became a member. Thank you. You could become a member through the desktop version of YouTube. It is a great way to support the channel. Another good way to support me is to go and sign up for the San Francisco Standard. This big, long article about Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, Trent Williams, the dancing in the tunnel, all the behind-the-scenes intel, basically, you can get from the San Francisco Standard in this long article, including the stuff that I relayed to you right now about Trent Williams. So thanks for becoming a member, CMC's #1 fan. Should probably start looking into ordering my Uber or Lyft, if that's what you prefer. I have it, the app right here on my phone, as you can see. So I'm going to be looking at some questions for you, from you, and answering them for you. And I will be typing in MSY Airport, New Orleans International Airport. New terminal there, by the way. It is $34.20 to get out to the airport right now. The ride can pick me up by 5 minutes from now and get me there at about 11:20, an hour before my flight. And we could push it a few more minutes here. How many people are getting anxiety listening to me push this closer and closer to my flight? I'm not getting anxiety. I consider if here's my thing. If I have gotten to the airport and I have to sit down at my gate, then I have lost. Then I have failed. The goal is always to get to the airport, walk through security, and continue walking uninterrupted onto the jetway and sit down on the plane. If you have to stop in the airport, you have not executed properly. You have not executed efficiently. That's the way that I live my life. Knock on wood. Now I'm getting cocky. I've never missed a flight in my life. And I take about 90 of them a year. So, I mean, now I'm really setting myself up for a tough one. But I'm confident. I'm confident in the operation. I'm confident in how this is going to work. I was also very, very confident in my breakfast this morning, and I so confident that I wanted to show it to you guys. I went to this place called Brennan's in New Orleans, and I told you I was on this Benedict tour of New Orleans. Well, it's a Benedict and a Croque Madame tour. A lot of egg dishes, a lot of the French cuisine here. You guys ready? I hope you're ready. There it is. That was the Benedict this morning. It was good. And the service, the Southern hospitality at this place. They were checking on me like every 30 seconds, giving me free coffee and everything. It was really good. So there's the morning after meal in New Orleans. Of course, I ordered bacon. Now, Lyft is offering me 5% off my ride to the airport. This would be really beautiful if it happened. Can Kendrick help shape the young wide receivers like Emmanuel Sanders is? Because Emmanuel helped shape Kendrick Bourne. So you pass it down a generation. I think so. I think it's very, very possible that Kendrick, who's now a 30-year-old veteran presence, is able to get that done for the 49ers. All right, we're confirming and requesting this ride. got to use my Sapphire Reserve credit card because I get extra points on that. Double click to pay. It's using my face to verify. All right. I think we have ordered the ride. Taking us from New Orleans downtown to the airport. I think 11 o'clock was about the time that I should order this ride, but we'll stay with you here for a few more minutes because we got to wait to see this guy come. Brennan's world famous. Yep, the place is good. I was happy I got to eat there. I ate really, really well over the course of this week. You can go to the pregame articles. That there's a ton of food in there. I mean, you'll probably say, hey, this guy, oh man, 2 minutes until the lift is here. So I'm going to have to get going. What I'm going to do is just toss the camera into the bag and head downstairs. Any more questions? Anything else good? Let me know. Doesn't seem that there is any. Will Colby take over Barch's job? TBD, but Barch might be hurt for next week. He was in a boot after the game. So if Barch is hurt, not ready to go for San Francisco next week, then naturally Colby would get the start for the 49ers. All right, guys, your homework right now, since I'm about to rush to the airport, is to check out the article on the Standard, hit that subscribe button to the channel. You could become a member as well. This is going to be bang, bang. I've got to get out to that airport, and I'll be on a flight. There's much more coming later today. Up on the Standard, we'll have some grades, and I'll have some news for you on the 49ers injury front as well. So, everybody, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you very soon.